Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. So last night, my wife and I watched Jay and Silent Bob the Reboot. It's a new movie by Kevin Smith in the Jay and Silent Bob universe, a sequel of sorts to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but it also talks about a lot of Kevin Smith's other films that are in the same universe, like Chasing Amy and Clerks, obviously, Clerks 2, Mallrats. So all the stuff that ties in still ties into this film. I had read online a lot about it from friends who said that it was horrible and that they had bought it and they were regretting the purchase and this and that. Admittedly, I haven't been a Kevin Smith fan in years. I thought Tusk was pretty creepy and I liked it in a way, but it was sort of unsettling. I wasn't a fan of Jersey Girl. I didn't see Yoga Hosers, and then he put out some other ones that I was just not into. That being said, I did go into this with an open mind because I do like Clerks 1 and 2. Mallrats is decent. I didn't like Chasing Amy really at all. I've tried it quite a few times. And the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back movie I do like. I think that was kind of their peak in terms of goofy fun with the characters. But anyhow, this movie is now in the future, obviously. Jay and Silent Bob are older. They're running it looks like it's a chicken shop, but it is a weed dispensary illegally. And they get busted by a SWAT team and arrested. And they go to court, and Justin Long is their attorney for free, but he's like this huge, you know, crazy attorney that works only for rich people, and they're really not sure why he's helping them. He gets them off on the charge, and then at the end, he makes them sign something, and it ends up being that they're releasing their names because there's going to be a new Jay and Silent Bob movie, Blunt Man and Chronic, in this movie, and he wants to make them relinquish their rights. So he screws them. So they're off to Hollywood, California, not Hollywood, Florida, to try and stop the reboot of Jay and Silent Bob being made. Or Blunt Man and Chronic, actually, I should say. That's the movie in the film. The a good portion of the film is self-aware. It makes jokes at itself. There was once that they actually look at the camera after they say something. They mock Kevin Smith in the movie relentlessly as a character in the movie. They keep calling him Kevin James, which is pretty funny. Kevin Smith's daughter's in the film. They make reference to his daughter, even though it's his daughter in the movie. There's lots of like wall-breaking jokes and humor laid on top of humor where it's part of this movie, but it's also part of another movie or part of real life. So stuff like that was kind of amusing. This movie, though, however, I would say is purely for huge fans of the Clerk series, Mallrats, and Jay and Silent Bob. If you haven't seen those, you kind of have to see them because there's so many jokes and references to the other films that you'll be like, what is he talking about? Jason Mewes obviously didn't age very well. I know years ago he had his teeth replaced because he was doing drugs and I guess his teeth rotted out. So he looks very strange with his mouth. There were a couple jokes during the film that I thought were very witty and funny. At the beginning of the movie, right away, Jason Mewes gets naked and does the Buffalo Bill Silence of the Lambs dance, which was funny because he did that back in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So the movie is sort of a meta film. It's making fun of Blunt Man and Chronic, the reboot. Meanwhile, it in itself it's not a reboot, it's a sequel, but it's making fun of it and calling itself a reboot. You have old faces like Rosario Dawson, who plays a whole different character. I never liked her. You have the girl who plays Justice. I can't think of her name right now from American Pie. She's getting older looking. She's still attractive, but she's getting older looking. You have a lot of characters from the past crop up in this movie. They do poke fun at, and obviously this was intentional, they do poke fun at reboots and remakes and new movies coming out with all this diversity, everyone's got to be Asian or black or Spanish or gay or Muslim or blah, 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 blah. So they make fun of all that in some facet. They also, though, like to poke fun at white nationalists, excuse me, and for some reason there's a KKK scene that sort of feels out of place um, with Chris Jericho as the leader of the KKK, which that was amusing because I do like Chris Jericho as a wrestler and he's a pretty good actor if you've seen him in other stuff. So that him in that role was amusing. I don't kind of see the point of I don't know. I just felt like certain things were shoehorned into the film to make like it's not really political points, but just points in general. Though they did counterbalance that with making fun of movies with diversity and making fun of some of the characters. For instance, Jay obviously has no filter in this film, and he's cursing every 2 seconds. And he sees one of the girls come over in a hijab. I think that's how you say it. And he goes, "Oh shit, a terrorist!" So there's jokes like that too. So I guess they tried to counterbalance it and make everyone happy. I don't know. Not that necessarily people from the KKK are watching this film. You would hope not. But there's definitely a lot of like weird uh, jokes and things like that. Trying to think of what else. So the main story is Jay and Silent Bob going with Kevin Smith's real life daughter in the film, who is named Millennium, and her friends are going to California to go to this chronic con, kind of like a comic con. There's a lot of juvenile humor. A lot of it looks very low budget. I was actually surprised in that regard how low budget some of it looked. Um, it was okay. Some humor, like I said, a couple times during the film, it hit me, and I thought it was pretty funny and witty. But the rest of the film just felt very try hard, fan only humor, and very low budget. It by the time it was over, I kind of had enough. It doesn't meet any of the other films in terms of quality. Clerks 2, I liked Clerks 2 a lot. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I liked a lot. It's just not as I don't know. They do make fun in the movie that Kevin Smith and his humor is stuck in the '90s. Maybe that's the case. Maybe in the '90s this would have went over well, but now it's a lead balloon. I don't know. I felt there was a little pandering in the film, even though, as I said, they did also joke around about other things. There was a funny part with an Asian actress who walks up to Jay in the movie, and she's whispering into this microphone, doing a podcast in Chinese about America, and he comes out with a pretty funny line. At least I found it funny. So I don't want to ruin every joke in the film that I found funny, but there are a few points that I thought were good. Overall, it felt like a movie that was just a ton of fan service that we really didn't need. If you were to say to me, well, what would you give it out of a 10? Maybe a 5. It was okay. Um, if it was in like a Blu-ray bin somewhere for $1 or $2, maybe. But it's not something I would pay full price for or pick up for anything more than a few bucks if I found it at like a flea market. It wasn't a great comedy, and if you are not a fan and don't remember, which I have a bad memory, don't remember a lot of the older films, soup to nuts, you will miss a lot of the jokes. Guys, let me know what you thought of the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which isn't really a reboot. Well, it's not really a reboot, but they sort of are rebooting a lot of the humor and the jokes. So let me know what you think, guys, if you saw the movie, what you thought of it. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.